Today's video, we are going to talk about the top of page bid notice or notification on Google Keyword Tool, why this is actually not something that you should directly go on, and there's a more accurate way to be able to figure out what you're going to be paying for a click in your market if you're just starting out, or just for a new keyword if you're going after new keywords. What you pay per click totally has nothing to do with Google Keyword Tool in and itself or by itself. What you do as an advertiser matters and is going to determine what you're actually going to pay for your clicks. And so with that, of course, I'll just tell you up front, it'll be extremely hard for you to make money with Google Ads, and you'll be like the 90% of people who don't make money with Google Ads that, you know, give a half-ass effort in how they set up their ads, how they set up their landing pages or websites that they're sending traffic to, and, you know, of course, setting up their tracking in order to get the results that are going to beat their competition in your local market. Google Ads isn't like a yellow page listing where you're there or you're not. That's what people think, that, and with that, they don't try very hard. They don't think it works, they quit, and they don't want, and they scratch their head wondering why their leading competition can actually afford to be there, and then it just makes them bitter. Ultimately, it's a direct competition between you and your competition that determines whether or not you'll make money with Google Ads. And of course, the lower you pay per click, the more likely it is that you're going to make a profit after all your expenses delivering your product or services and paying for that ad spend. And so the top of page bid and the low range, obviously what you see, what you would like to pay per click, you're only going to get that if certain things happen. Ultimately, that's where most of the money is made as well, by the way, given not only do 90% of people who try Google Ads don't make any money, and they're in the graveyard of people, you know, that have tried and failed. Only about 20% of the market that advertises on Google Ads even make any money, or should I say, make a decent amount of money. There's some people that make a little bit of money. There's a lot of people who are also making no money, and they don't know it because they don't have tracking set up, and they aren't paying close enough attention. And then there's 20% of the top who make all the money, basically. And so ultimately, and the people that are making all that money are paying the low range, top of page bid, low range amount that you see on Google Keyword Tool when you open it up and you search for your keywords in your market. So all in all, you need to be at that low range in order to basically make money. And then in order to do that, you actually need to set up your ads and your landing page and your tracking all, you know, precisely the right way. Otherwise, you're just never going to get there. You're going to pay too much for a click. There's only so much value you're going to squeeze out of a click. If you end up paying 3 times as much for a click as the guys that are doing well and making money now, generally that's the make or break that determines if you're going to be in the black or the red with this whole thing. And Google Ads and the ROI that you can see from Google Ads itself. So that all said, I'm going to talk about what's more realistic than what you could expect to pay per click, how the system works a little bit more, and how you actually are going to, on top of that, make money every time with your Google Ads, given with the few key things that you need to know to make money going into it, and you don't end up like the 90% who don't make any money with your ads. So Google Keyword Tool actually is a pretty realistic tool and has pretty realistic data if you know how to read the data and interpret it, or should I say interpret the data the right way. The problem is people rarely understand how to interpret this data, because, which I can't blame anybody for not doing that. If you're just starting out with Google Ads, it's all a mystery, and there's so many things you need to know that you aren't going to know until you just run ads and lose money at it for a while to figure out how to get it to work. So if you've used the Google Keyword Tool and you found this video because you were wondering what's the difference between the high range, the low range, what do they mean, what's what? Because Google used to have only one number there in Google Keyword Tool about what you're going to pay per click. And I like the fact that they have in the high and the low range, because they can tell me more accurately as a educated, experienced Google Ads advertiser what I'm actually going to be paying in that market before I get into it. And we can then guess what a cost per lead or cost per sale is going to be, and whether that campaign is going to be profitable or not. or not just say profitable, because I always know I can make the campaigns profitable outdoing our competition in that local market and seeing what the competition's doing. But knowing what the return will be before we even run ads, respectively speaking, given we have to guarantee results for our clients at our firm and guarantee specific numbers to them and know how to assess our risk going in. But anyway, if you use the Google Keyword Tool, the top of the page high range, first of all, what that actually means, that's actually going to be the number that you're going to pay per click if you do everything wrong, okay? That, when I say wrong, that I mean, you know, your ads are going to be set up terribly, which is going to net you a terrible click-through rate on your ad. When I say terrible ad, that means, of course, like you would think, naturally, without a lot of experience, that the ad, if it's not written correctly, it won't get a high click-through rate or rate in which people click through the ad. That's right, but it goes further than that. The bigger factor is, will the ad satisfy the user's query or not? If they're searching for piano shipping services in Chicago, and I have an ad that says moving companies, Chicago, I don't know if they ship pianos or not, or move pianos or not. And so if my ad is a crappy ad, but I just did that one thing right, which is if somebody's looking for piano moving services in Chicago, my ad says piano moving services in Chicago, the rest of my ad, even though it's garbage, will get a high click-through rate, and I'm going to end up with a lower cost per click because I've done that one simple thing right. And with competition that you have in most markets not doing that one thing right, they try to have one or few ads for all their different keywords they're targeting, then everybody gets a half-ass ad that only half or doesn't at all tell the user that you offer the specific thing that they're looking for. Your click-through rate's going to be bad no matter how well that ad's written. So if your ad is not written well or just, it could be just your ad is not relevant to the user's query, your click-through rate will be terrible, and you'll end up paying this top of page high range bid estimate as what you're paying for that click. Generally speaking though, the click-through rate of the ad is only half of the determination of whether or not you're going to be paying top of page high range rate for every one of your clicks. The other half of the equation is whether or not you get a terrible conversion rate. Because if you get a terrible conversion rate too, that's the time where you're guaranteed to have this top of page high range being what you're going to have to pay for a click and probably never make money because it's such a high exorbitant amount you can't make money. And Google's designed the system that way to encourage people who don't give two shits about what they're doing to do it right and to help their users to just be forced out of the system. They don't say that, but that's legitimately what is happening. Terrible conversion rates mean you either don't use a landing page at all, which a lot of people still think, you know, the bigger amateurs will say, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings here, but it is what it is. The amateurs who think you don't even need a landing page, and for the last 10 years, you've needed a landing page to make good money with Google ads. Unless you're in e-commerce, that's a different story. But even then, if you're selling an expensive product that's over like a couple $100, you need a landing page that sells the product that in long form copy to explain the features of that product, why I should buy that $1,000 water filter. But then, even if you are using a landing page, the landing page is shitty. A lot of people who don't understand how to make a good landing page, they think a landing page should be something you pay $500 for. If all it took to make millions of dollars on Google ads is to pay somebody $500 for a landing page, I'd be a trillionaire by now. And there would not be an opportunity for you to make money on Google ads if it were that easy. A good landing page by a reputable firm that puts plenty of time and work into it will be like 10, 15 grand. But that landing page will crush it. And relatively speaking, spending $15,000 for a landing page, while that may sound so absurd to you, and you probably half fell off your chair just hearing the word $15,000, you're going to make millions of dollars off of this page over the next 5 or 10 years. What the hell does it matter if you pay $500 or $15,000? It makes zero difference. The only reason why you wouldn't do it is if you were emotional about the situation and you have prejudice about how much somebody who's a creative expert and does this kind of stuff should be paid. But I will tell you, 80-90% of the people that I talk to, that I tell them that you can't get by with a shitty landing page that you pay someone $500 to do, they do not want to believe it. But, that's how people get scammed. All you have to do to scam somebody is tell them what they want to hear and then charge them a low price, and you'll get their money every time. I tell people the truth. They don't like the truth, so then they go get scammed. Ultimately, which person you want to be? You come up with the right landing page from somebody who understands user experience design, puts together an excellent landing page, and then going back to the ad thing, you don't just have one landing page for everything. If somebody's looking to move a piano, going back to my previous example, you want a landing page that says piano moving services, not moving services Chicago. So that when they get to the page and they've saw your ad that says piano moving services, they see a landing page that says piano moving services. So they know right away before calling, you do what they need, therefore they should call. Whereas if you think that somebody's going to get to your page after seeing an ad that says piano moving services, and then you get a page that says nothing about pianos whatsoever, that they're going to call at the same rate in which they got to a page that said piano moving services, you are delusional. It is not going to happen. You're going to end up with half or less the amount of leads, and there's only so many leads that you could potentially lose before you just lose money. The ads won't pay them for themselves. You're out of business with it. So you get to decide how much you want to believe of this stuff. Of course, nobody wants to believe it's going to be a lot of work. The people who do believe it are going to go on to make millions. So which side of the fence you want to be on? You make a good landing page with a good design, and then you make variants of that landing page for each product or service that you have to cater to the user who wants to buy from you. If you are the user who is searching for a water filter, what do you want to go to? A page with a few paragraphs on it? Or do you want a full sales page that goes through every feature and benefit of that water filter? Obviously, as a user, if you're going to spend the big $1,000 on it, you're going to know what you are going to need or want from that, or what you're going to want from the user, and which is more information, obviously, and done so in an engaging, clear-cut way. But for some reason, the same person that I talked to that would want that doesn't want to do it for their users and expect people to buy from them regardless of what they're going to give them. And again, these prejudices is what keeps people broke, or decides whether or not you're going to be the person in your market that's going to make millions off of the Google ads or somebody else. Whoever steps up to the plate and gives the user what they want, that's the person who's going to make the millions. So you get a good ad that's relevant to the user's query each time, and you take them to a page that is well thought through, made by an actual expert that's going to charge you not $500 for a landing page, but many thousands, but it's going to absolutely fucking crush it. You will not be the person who pays the top of page high range rate for a click in your market. No, obviously, no, we don't want to pay for a click, double what somebody else pays for the same exact click. Everybody knows that. So why is it that everybody doesn't want to do the work to help the user so we don't have to pay as much per click? The reality is it's apathy or ignorance or a combination thereof. You can't claim ignorance anymore because I've just told you what you're going to need to do to not pay this high range rate for a click. Question is whether or not you'll do it or not. So realistically though, to put this into perspective, I could say, roughly speaking, kind of what you need to do. But the ultimate decision comes down to Google, if you're going to pay that high range rate or not. And how do they determine it? They're going to benchmark you against all the other people that are advertising in your market for your keywords that you're bidding on. So if you are bidding on Piano Movers Chicago and you start advertising, you're going to actually start out at this high range rate, by the way. This is your default starting cost per click you're paying for. Whether or not you pay that forever or for 1 week or 2 weeks is up to you. You start out at this high range rate given, and the reason for this is simple. Google knows 9 out of 10 people who try this think that it's going to be fucking simple and that they're going to spend 15 minutes setting up their ad and they're going to give the user a dog shit ad and a dog shit landing page, and they're going to be in and out in 2 seconds, and they want them to be in and out in 2 seconds because they want to give users, they want to promote people through Google search ads that are going to help the user, because people that get a good experience come back to Google to click on ads again, which builds up long-term recurring revenue for them. And they want to weed out the people who don't do a good job that piss off the user. So you start at advertising for your keywords in your market at the high range rate that Google lists on Google Keyword Tool, and they just watch. What is your click-through rate on your ad as compared to the other people that are there? As you know, at the top of Google, though, there's 4 ads. So people got to decide which ad to click on. Depending on how well written your ad is and how relevant it is to the user's query, they'll decide to click on your ad or somebody else's ad. If you follow my advice, it'll be your ad 3 times out of 4. If you don't follow my advice, it could go the other way. They're also going to look at everybody who gets to your website, what they do. Do they come back to Google and click on something else? If they end up going to your website and end up getting what they want and not come back and terminate their search, that is, they don't go back to Google to click on or search for other things or search elsewhere for their needs, then they notice that, but they don't just notice it because it's all relative, good, bad, in the middle. They benchmark you against the other people again, just like they will with the ad click-through rate. If you're in the top 20% of people or whatever, or above average in terms of, let's say that in the moving market, the average, conversion rate from all the advertisers in that market's 15%. You're 18%, you're above average. Now they're going to give you credit for that, so you don't have to pay the high range anymore. You're going to pay less. This is all tied into Google's quality score system, which if you don't know your quality score, you can easily see that by each keyword that you're advertising on to see what your score is, which is a combination of your ad click-through rate and your ad conversion rate, or your landing page conversion rate combined. And you can actually break it out so it tells you if your ad's worse or your landing page is worse, so you can fix one or the other. So you can end up with a great ad and a terrible landing page and still not pay the high range rate. You'll pay a little bit less than the high range rate. Or you could do both bad and pay the high range rate, or you could do both good and pay far from the high range rate. But ultimately they benchmark and they study every single person who searches, every person that clicks on one of the ads that's normally showing up for the keywords you want to bid on, and finds out what the average click-through rate, the best click-through rate, lowest click-through rate is, same thing on the landing page, conversion rate, and then benchmark you against all the people that have been advertising for the last how many years, where Google studied every single person who's clicked through an ad in that market. And then you come out the other side with the rating and amount that they're going to charge you. The one thing that people don't also understand about this as well is there's 10 people that are generally in competitive markets that are cycling out of those 4 top ad spots on the top of Google. It's not just 4 people you're competing against, there's 10. And Google's deciding which ones to put in there based upon how well the click-through rate is, how well the conversion rate is. So really, what's determining if you pay this high rate range is based upon all 10 of those people and all the performance of their ads. So ultimately you start out with the high range rate, and then the better you do than the worst person that's there, the lower your cost per click essentially is going to go, if you want to say that. So that's kind of how it works in a nutshell. Now, conversely, the top of the page low range bid range on the Google Keyword Tool that you see means if you actually are paying that low range rate that you see there, you did both of the things that I just mentioned to you better than other people in terms of the click-through rate on your ad, the conversion rate on your landing page. Either better or as good as the top guy or gal benchmarked in your space for the keywords that you're bidding on, okay? So Long story short, whether you pay the high rate or the low rate or somewhere in the middle depends on how well of a job you do with your click-through rate and your landing page conversion rate. And so, whereas this title is kind of a clickbait title in the way that I say, the top of the page bid is not really what you'll pay. What you'll normally pay is somewhere in the middle of the top and the high and the low, if you're not an expert PPC person like me that's done hundreds of campaigns and understands user psychology and what works and what doesn't work. Because you're not going to be the best, probably. You're not going to be the worst unless you really don't give a shit. You might be the worst. But you'll pay somewhere in the middle. And that flavor or amount that you pay is just based upon where you fall in the scale of the 10 people you're competing against in the Google Ads realm and space in your market. Now, if you want to know how much more you're going to be paying if you do the worst job versus the best job, you can obviously see an example of that going into the Google Keyword Tool, looking at the spread between the high range rate and the low range rate. But having done, a basic survey on the different, several different markets, generally what I find is the average amount that you're going to pay doing everything wrong in terms of the ad and the landing page, and the click-through rate and the landing page conversion rate you're going to get, compared to doing everything right, so you're the best one in your market doing it, you'll pay 2.66 times more per click being on the bottom of the pile with the worst click-through rates and the conversion rates in your market versus the other advertisers in your market versus the best ones. So if you just do everything right that I mentioned, literally speaking, all you would have to do to pay the low range rate is watch my videos on how to set up a Google search campaign in your market to make it work. It's not that complicated. It's just a matter of will you put the work in or not. And the short of that is you don't just bid on a few keywords. You find the hundreds of keywords, variants that are in your market that people search for. Then you write unique ads. Yes, unique ads for every single one that cater to every single individual user searcher's query. And you send them to a landing page that's perfectly customized for that query as well, in that the landing page has the headline that matches what was on the ad, which matches what's on the query. And if you do that, you'll end up paying the low range rate because, even though I've got 1,000 subscribers on this channel basically by now, and hundreds of thousands of people have watched my videos at this point, only a small percentage of people who watch these videos or know about this or have thought about this will actually do it. Generally speaking, I have not seen a single market that I've entered where I've doing what I'm talking about here, at least to the level we're doing it, that other people have done it better. I've never seen that. It's a legitimate, that's 100% truth. No bullshit. So if you just do this, some people try to do it somewhat, I will admit that, but they half-ass it still. So if you just use your full ass on it, you'll end up paying the low range rate automatically. And you'll pay 2.66 times less than the other idiot who wants to spend 15 minutes setting up his ad and he's done. Which, I talk so badly about people who, shouldn't say idiot, but reality is, it's not like, it should be logical sense. Everybody knows about Google Ads. If you could set up an ad in 15 minutes and make millions, why wasn't somebody else in your market doing this already? You got to know something or do something that's different than everybody else to have returns that aren't like everybody else's returns. This should be, it's the whole too good to be true thing. If somebody comes, offer you $1 million, if you just forward them 1,000 for processing fees, you should not be. If you fall for that, you're a dumbass, basically. That same thing applies to business as to life. So ultimately, you should understand that it's not there's no free lunch as it comes to this. It's going to take some work to get it done right. You do it right, you get all the rewards. That's just how things are with this Google Ads. And how Google has set up the system to strongly reward people who do things the right way for their users and heavily, heavily, heavily punish people who don't. And the information you need to do it right is simply on this channel. Whether you do it or not, that's up to you. So ultimately, if you don't know it right away, and you fail or have failed, it's perfectly fine. You can easily pick up the information on this channel where I tell you exactly what to do, in which we have to guarantee results for our clients at our PPC agency, and I'm giving you the stuff we use to guarantee results for our clients. You can copy for free what we're doing. That's what I give to you on this channel, and get those same results for yourself. So you could pay 2.66 times more for the same exact click that we're paying, employing these methods for our campaigns. That 2.66x advantage, which is really like a 1.33x advantage when you talk about the average person who advertises on Google Ads, that 1.33x advantage is significant, right? Because most local businesses, or even national businesses, whether you sell products or services, the margins are real slim in your market. Everybody tells me, Corey, my margins are so slim. I'm not like this business or that business. Every business has slim margins. We're usually talking about like on average 10% margin in your business. What kind of an competitive advantage would it give you to be able to get 1.33 times more customers per dollar spent than everybody else? If that's what that's all the advantage you need right there. And so basically everybody knows that Google Ads exist today. Everybody wants those customers. Whether you get them or not, and whether you can afford to pay for the ad spend and still make money after all your expenses, all just comes down to whether you're going to put the work in to make it work like your life depended on it, or you don't. And it's really all just comes down to that. But that's not all, okay? Not only do you pay 2.66 times more money for doing a half-ass job or a quarter-ass job on your ad setup and landing page setup than you would if you did it like I'm doing for clients here, you will also get penalized in other ways on top of that, if that wasn't bad enough. On top of that, Google's going to throttle your traffic if you do a shit job on the ad click-through rate and the landing page conversion rate as well. In terms of throttling your something called impression share. Impression share, if you don't know what it is, it's basically the number of times you're eligible to show up on a Google search in the ad space. So going back to what I was saying before, there's really, in most competitive markets, like 10 people actually running on Google Ads at any given time. You just don't see them all. They're being cycled out of the top 4 ad spots on Google based upon what Google is trying to measure. They're trying to figure out with their ad algorithm, which is an actual algorithm that tries to figure out which ads are shown, which are not, per keyword, per person, per age demographic, per gender, per time of the day, per state, on and on and on and on. They want to, going back to what I was saying before, they want to show the ad and the landing page of the people who help give Google's search engine users the best experience. And their algorithm's constantly trying to figure out who to show that's going to give the user the best experience, and then whoever gives the best experience to the user, rewarding them through a lower cost per click, encouraging them to stick around, and penalizing the people who don't by giving them a higher cost per click, something that's near the high range, to discourage them from staying around. And so not only do they lift or raise or lower your cost per click you're paying for the same exact clicks based upon how well you do the ad click-through rate, and get your click-through rate up or down, and how well you do the landing page to get the user to convert at a high rate or not. They will also decide to show you more if you're doing a better job and show you less if you're doing a worse job. So if you do all this stuff right, like I'm telling you that you should do all this stuff, even though I sound like a crazy man telling you to do all this, which on a basic, even a local campaign, we're spending 100 hours setting up a campaign and landing pages and tracking, but 100 hours just to start. And then over the next couple of years, we're going to put in another 100 hours of management on that campaign to get it to work. The other people aren't going to put 200 hours of work on that campaign, and we'll crush them. will pay 2.66 times less than the worst guy who spent 15 minutes on it. Then on top of it, our ad's going to get shown 2 to 3 times more than anybody else's ad. And it's going to get shown for more of the best quality, best stream of traffic that we can get in our market. Where there's the hottest buyers or the highest percentage of buyers, Google's going to give that traffic to the person who's already doing the best in terms of the user experience as well. So we'll pay 2.66 times less than the worst guy by having the ad set up the preferred way that helps the users the most and which Google will reward you for. We're going to get shown 3 times as much as anybody else. And we're going to get shown in front we'll get placement in the places that have the best customers, whereas the people that do the below average basically will get shown in all in those places. So when you add it all up, from the lowering of the cost per click to the raising of the amount of clicks we can get, which is only so much pie in our market to get, and we raise the amount of people that can, see our ad, and then you raise the amount of people who click through our ad, and then you add in there that we're going to make sure we get shown in the most premium placements where the best customers are searching. You could talk about 30 times, 20, 30 times more profit being made doing it my way compared to the guy that's at the bottom of the pile who probably will just quit in like a month or 2. In terms of the ROI, it all just stacks upon, each other, and, the benefits are stacked up. So if you missed it again, cost per click would be less. You get more clicks because you're shown more. Your ad, because it's better, it gets clicked through naturally higher at a higher rate anyway, and you're going to get shown to the premium audience members more as well. So there's 4 benefits of doing this, what you need to do to get to where you're paying the low range bid versus the high range bid, and then you get other things that are just going to happen anyway on top of it. So there's no reason why not to do this other stuff, so that you are the one paying the low range bid, because you'll make 20, 30 times more money than the guy who didn't do any of this stuff, or didn't know about it, or didn't care to do it. So you have the impression share, and how many times you're shown and who you're shown to factor in as well on how much money you're making, whether or not you set your ads up good, bad, in the middle somewhere, or whatever. So I thought I would just bring that up as well. That's not relevant to the top of the page bid, but it all ties in together. And if you needed extra encouragement to actually do what it took to get to the low range, thinking, I'll just pay a little bit more. I'm not going to put 100 hours of work into my campaign right away. Or I'm not going to pay somebody else to do that. Or I'm going to pay somebody that's that charges almost nothing because it sounds cheap. And I don't want to pay a lot, because if I pay a lot and it doesn't work, then I'm out all my money, which is, by the way, the major, major fatal flaw that most people make. They think, I'm not going to pay a PPC person or somebody to make a landing page very much, because if it doesn't work, I'll lose all that money. And the reality is, and this is another thing that should be obvious, if somebody actually could get you great results on PPC, why the hell would they be charging almost no money? You can go and start a business and run your ads for your own business and make a shitload of money. Unless you're going to be paid a shitload of money for that to run your ads and landing pages as well, you're not going to get somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. Sorry, that's just how it is. There's no free lunch. So, but it's fine, because if you have no money to hire the right person, you just do it yourself. You watch this channel, it's free, you set it all up. That you're not going to do it as good as the expert's going to do, but you'll do good enough to where it makes money, and then you could eventually pay the expert, and then they'll really take it to the next level. That's what most people that make it to the other side are doing. One way or the other. They're rolling up their sleeves and doing it, or they're hiring the best possible person they can find. And when I say best possible person, that doesn't mean the most visible person as well. That means finding the best possible person, somebody who already gets good results out there for other people already. And not a big agency that sounds like they get results for people, because you could get assigned to somebody who doesn't know jack shit about anything and end up with bad results. Generally, you need somebody, I hate to pitch my services directly here, but you need somebody who knows what they're doing, and you need to know when you hire them that they're not going to pawn you off to somebody else, and that person you hire, if they're just a consultant, they need to be able to have a team of people underneath them who can design, program, do data entry, because it's multidisciplined thing to make a PPC campaign work. There's other things to consider. So the ideal situation is somebody who knows what they're doing with this team underneath them that they direct, in which you get to deal with the person working on your strategy yourself. That's what I've kind of created at our PPC firm specifically. But that's the most ideal situation. Whereas a consultant can't do it all themselves, a firm, you're going to get passed off to a rookie if you do that. And somewhere in the middle is the best. Anyway, I'll wrap it up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I have a lot of videos on this channel, as mentioned on this particular video, that tell you exactly what you need to do to make millions with your PPC. I have basically about 3-4 dozen clients at any given time at our PPC agency that we're managing their campaigns. Where I'm managing their campaigns. And I tell you on this channel exactly what we're doing that works and doesn't work. So unlike most of these other BS channels on YouTube, I'm telling you the real, what is actually working out there, coming from the person actually doing it, and not doing it on 1 or 2 accounts, but dozens at any given time. It's the best information you're going to find on YouTube about how to make money with PPC, period. Coming from somebody who's going to tell you not theories, but how to actually make money. So you should subscribe. So subscribe already if you haven't. And you should also give this video a like as well. Help get the video out there for other people like yourself that would be helped by it. I'd really appreciate that. Beyond that, I have, by the way, a blog as well at guaranteedppc.com/blog where I've written tutorials on how to set up PPC campaigns that can supplement the information that I'm offering on this channel if you care about that. If you have any questions about anything I covered today, about the top of page bid, low, high, whatever, leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a comment on this channel, usually within a couple days' time. And if you have any other questions about PPC in general, it doesn't hurt to leave me a question or comment down below. I get back to those as well. As a final note, before I wrap this video up, I have a brand new program at our PPC agency where we don't just offer PPC services, we offer turnkey campaign templates as well. So if we're in a moving market and we've done great results in Chicago and you're in Miami and you want to start a business there or have a business there in the moving market already, instead of hiring us, you could literally get a templated copy of the campaign we're running in Chicago for running in Miami and not have to hire us and just pay a one-time flat fee for that campaign template that has all the ads, all the landing pages, all the keywords that get results in that market to generate millions of dollars of sales profitably in that market. And you get to use the same exact thing in your market, which you're bypassing, you know, that hundreds of hours of work to build up a campaign in that market, and which we already know and have done that in that market already. So if you're in a market where you think, you know, basically you could reach out to us and we could let you know if we have campaign templates we could sell you in your market already, or if you want to start a business and, you know, basically you could hurdle over all the hard part of building a PPC campaign that works, know what kind of results you can get going into it, and just copy and paste the results that get those results in your market by paying a one-time fee and getting the campaign results we have. You know, assuming that there's no conflict of interest and you're not in direct competition with our clients, and in a totally different market our clients will never be in, we can give you campaign templates that already work in your market. So anyway, if you're interested in that type of thing, let us know. And we can build potentially something for you, let you know what kind of results we have and in what markets. So I'll wrap everything up with that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It was entertaining for you. And of course you go out and do the information, or use the information I gave you to make some money. That'd be great. But I'll see you on the next one where we'll have another great strategy for you to make some more money with your PPC. See you there.